UK Games Expo, May's giveaway result, what I'm painting now, a review of all of my current projects, including Blood Angel Space Marine Primaris Captain 2nd Edition box art homage, what projects lie beyond, predatory practices in the miniature painting industry, and a chance for you to choose the next Mini Mad Cat video project. This is the Mini Mad Cat channel update, June 2024. Hello, and welcome to the channel. I'm the Mini Mad Cat. Click like, subscribe, comment down below, join the Patreon, blah 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 blah. Right, UK Games Expo. Thanks to Iron Dragoon for being sole funder for this year's visit, to Sabanana Wanana for putting me up for the weekend, and Gavin Average for keeping me company, well-oiled, and showering me in grass tufts and laser-cut plants in my time of need. Next year, I'd like to maybe look at going as press and doing 3 or 4 videos, one per hall, covering each exhibitor as a comprehensive overlook at what people attending the convention can likely expect next year. I'll need to acquire a power bank, or maybe 2, and a storage chip for my phone at the least, so join the Patreon. Join the Patreon. This year, due to my primary focus being a bit scattered,
It's a bit scattered. Awfully scattered.
I only managed to really get to spend time at a handful of the stands I wanted to. I was mostly interested in catching up with my friends and supporters and spending time with them. Here's the loot I captured. These Dark Souls-esque models from Rescale Miniatures, formerly Lord of the Print, for free, courtesy of Apolloz, old school Twitcher and good friend of the channel. Link to his Twitch channel will be down below. This Dwarf Guild lad by a friendly guy, I think it was Paul, at the one-page rule stand. I've looked through the My Mini Factory Dwarf Guild set, and the exact sculpt isn't there, so I'm going to assume this was an Expo exclusive. I bought these 3 boxes from Archon Studios at a very reasonable price. He-Man and Battlecat, Skeletor with Panther, and a 5-headed dragon, which looked better in person than this box art. I bought 3 blister packs from Crooked Dice and got to hang out and chat with Carl, the head honcho there, for a while. Jimmy the Brush, Carl and I could probably have spent hours talking, but it was coming to the end of the Sunday and we had to cut it off early. I've also done some prep work on this Authority Heavy Assault Trooper who looks awesome. I also picked up a salvager robot and a pack of gravestones for a big project that's been sitting untouched for a while. Crooked Dice's miniatures are full of character and often hit that nostalgia mark for any old Hammer fans and collectors. I'd own half the range if I could. By the time I'd gotten to Gamer's Grass, I was still waiting for a big dono from Iron to make its way to the bank and was helped out once again by Gav, who generously stocked me up on some excellent diorama materials. Thanks, Gav. Here's the footage I found on my phone. There's not much, and it's not very good. Sorry about that. If you attended UK Games Expo, then let me know what your favourite exhibitor was, and why. Here is what I've been working on prior to the build-up to UK Games Expo. The Blood Angel Space Marine Primaris Captain, inspired by the 2nd edition box art, is looking pretty nice. Most of the live streams that I've done, I dual streamed to Twitch and YouTube, so you can find some of those in the channel live streams. I had to take a little break and ended up working on my own Great Unclean one, completing the sword and knife before moving on to Gav's Gloomspike Gitz Trog Boss, which I was hoping, foolishly, that I might be able to finish in time to have him travel home with it. This is the current project I'm working on and off stream. I'm still uploading things to Patreon regularly. The Astartes series is coming close to completion there, and I'll be putting it to my patrons what project they want me uploading there next. There's Queen Brood, the Boba Giant, the Dragon from Signum Games, and the Vorpal Dogs that I have ready to upload as complete painting projects. Regarding the title of the video and the main subject, one company I recently worked with mistakenly didn't credit the artists as promised in the contract on the release day for their Kickstarter. This, in my opinion, will have had a negative effect on the exposure that I and the other small artists might have had we been included on those pages on release. They now have corrected a few of the sites, though they still have only credited me for 2 of the 3 models. I don't know why that is. And it's all down at the bottom of the pages after the greatest impact was made, which is when it's released, and they pushed it on all their social media platforms. I'm not ascribing malice, despite it having been suggested to me by more than a few bigger influencers and people with more experience than I that it might be that way. It's been suggested that they may have deliberately picked smaller artists who haven't enough of an audience, whereby doing them dirty would be a cause of concern to them as a company. I hope not. Have you had a similar experience? Working as an artist within the miniatures and tabletop industry, I mean. If so, I'd like to hear about it in the comments down below. I certainly can recall one incident with a wargaming channel getting into hot water over something similar. I wonder if anyone can remember who that was. Open apologies were made, if I recall. What are your thoughts on what I've experienced? What would make things right? Any ideas? I was very proud to get my first box art commission, with the idea that my name would accompany them wherever they went, on boxes and on the road. It would be a new high for me as a professional creator and painter. I intended on making a promotional video for them here, and was happy to create for free my best attempt at a professional painting tutorial for them, so as to help promote the product further entirely at my own expense. I found out since from another artist involved in the project that none of the artists were credited alongside the physical models at the exhibition either at the UK Games Expo. These numerous oversights led me into the sort of thinking that has unfortunately soured this experience. Intentional or not, it amounts to what feels like a betrayal. I'm still hopeful that in time they do something about this that reflects the situation in a way more fitting to the kind of arrangements I had been led to believe would be the case. Am I being too hopeful? What do you think? Maybe this is just how the industry is. I'll be careful of such work myself in the future. Me making this video and being so open about it is indicative that I'm moving on. To do so, I'm airing my grievance here, issued as a warning to artists all over. Such promises can be enticing. Don't be fooled by open-ended promises. As a contractor, you've got nothing but what they give you in paper as a purchase order or contract. If you think or feel strongly that there's something that the contract would benefit from to include, you should make sure to bring it up before agreeing to any work. I would have loved to be painting regularly for that company, and I made changes to my schedule and commission window because it had been alluded to this might be the case. However, these open-ended incentives never turned into anything, and email communications already having been poor, I gave up the chase. Maybe I should have done things differently, but at least for now, the course for me and my future work with them has come to an end. Right now, this is what I'm working on, and you can find me on twitch.tv/TheMiniMadCat, painting Gav's Trogboss once this video is live. I'm really happy with where this is heading. Following loosely the box art, I've got a pretty clear plan on each element of the project, so I should work through it fairly quickly. And then we have the following projects coming after it, in order of their planned appearance. Iron Dragoon's mech, stationed on Mars. This mini titan will be a new experience to me in scale. I think he stands about 8 stories tall. Please tell me if I'm wrong about that in the comments below. I think it needs a tiny bit more cleanup. Having blasted it a little with primer to test, I can see a few spots that need more sanding and filing. Sir Banana Wanana's Blongle Captain. This is my finest work on a Space Marine I can manage at the moment, and he is a work in progress. Something needs to be done about the base. I feel like he needs a little diorama to match the box art. I've started to think about how I'd go about doing that to a great effect. Raumin's Frank Horrigan, Psychic Sphinx and Bog Bog. Frank will be as he appears in the game, unlike my rendition last year. Psychic Sphinx is going to be a nebula colour scheme with, I think, gold as the main accent. And Bog Bog, we're going to attempt an LED fire version, I think. Some sort of a fighter or rogue as a thank you to Jem Hadar for sending me this box of Hero Quest. And then I'm kind of free to paint what I want, or whatever commissions come in. I've got a big project I want to finish with my Necromunda Corpse Starch Manufactorum, which has been horribly neglected. Another to finish is my Vampire Counts army. Of course, my Nurgle Demons army and Death Guard, including the Great Unclean Ones, still have sizable chunks to complete. Plus, I've got numerous big projects I want to start, like the Hero Quest box I showed before, for example, or one of the several armies that aren't even built, mostly acquired from my days on the GW staff discount. For 40k, I've got the Leviathan box, plus some additions for both sides, a small Orc force, and a considerable amount of metal and plastic sisters. For Age of Sigmar, I've got a Stormcast army that's probably going to have to be proxies now because they've been cast into the pit of legend. A Skaven army that's probably the same and is effectively still unbuilt despite the few things that you can see here. They're just the tip of the iceberg. And then there's all the skirmish system models I've got to get to, Warcry, Necromunda and Blood Bowl. Of course, I've got numerous smaller projects that have started or yet to start. Do any of these catch your eye? So, as I mentioned at the start of the video, if you'd like to see something in particular as the next video, and one of these have caught your eye, then comment down below with which one and why. The comments that do the best in likes and additional unique user replies will be what I aim to produce next. I hope and look forward to seeing your comments down below. Remind you to like, comment, subscribe, join the Patreon. I love the Patreons.
Nobody's better.
They're the best. They're the best Patreons. Squig, you're the best. Just you. You're the best, Squig. Thanks, Squig. Finally, come hang out in the live stream where I'm free for painting advice and trying to create a fun atmosphere. Click the link down below, question everything, and have fun.